Yeah, baby.
Oh,
yes. There's another one there in the teaser.
This is the Sport Fishing Championship.
And this is the first day of competition from South Padre Island. Stop number 9 of 10, the 82nd annual Texas International Fishing Tournament. What a sight, what a venue, and what a fishery you're about to see this week. Again, it's a 2-day tournament. They're out there on day number 1 right now. They'll have to have their lines out of the water in about 30 minutes. We're down at the southern tip of Texas at the Texas-Mexico border at South Padre Island, Laguna Madre Bay, the Gulf of Mexico where it meets. Whether you're an inshore fisherman or an offshore fisherman, there's plenty of canyons, plenty of depth to get to in a short amount of time. I'm Robbie Floyd with Ronnie Moore on site with Site 1, and this is the TIFT event. They've been doing it for over 80 years. It's the 82nd annual edition of this event, Ronnie, and I'm already seeing fish catches. We saw it early this morning. They're catching them throughout the day. This is going to be a day like no other in a very, very fine fishery.
This is what a fantastic way to end the Gulf Division, Robbie. As we hear the catch alerts going off, we've had every species of billfish almost possible and all those championship division fish. What a great day 1 here at the TIFT tournament.
Look at 757, Sigsbee deep. Now notice a pattern here. They released a white marlin on this first day early this morning. Quantified, they're leading the Gulf Championship in points. They already had a sailfish. They have multiple sailfish. You'll see their name a time or two, but watch some repetitive nature of some of these teams. There it is. Sigsbee deep, another white marlin caught. You're going to see that pattern, Ronnie. I mean, they're catching white marlin, they're catching blue marlin, they're catching a bunch of sails, a bunch of variety here as well, but a lot of numbers.
The numbers is outrageous. We've heard good things about the South Padre Island area for this event. We knew that quantity was going to be there for maybe sailfish, but we're hearing it for whites and also a lot more blue marlin getting caught and tagged and released. And also, we're not only seeing quantity, we will see some size this week as well, Robbie.
Absolutely. The championship fish division, you see a caught yellowfin tuna. That could be an extra $50,000 for Rising Suns if it's over a 200-pound yellowfin tuna. Invincible Boats sponsoring that particular item, but also the mahi-mahi. I believe Rising Suns have a big mahi-mahi. We only need about a 40-pounder, 40 and a half, and that might take the lead there. So these championship fish divisions, they're going to be ones to look at as well this week.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because some of those catches for the championship division fish were popping off pretty close together in time. So when you get in a school of meat fish, as we call them, man, they'll bite and you can get them in the boat quick. And that could be an extra $50,000, maybe $100,000 for Team Rising Suns.
Yeah, Angler Totally Berthelot might have that big mahi-mahi. But again, the yellowfin tuna, championship fish by Invincible Boats. It can be had. The wahoo, we saw that at Martha's Vineyard, 103-pounder. I don't know if they're going to top that, but you see Rebecca, they've been in the championship for quite some time, released sailfish as well. Sashimi, there's a lot of sashimi possibilities out there. El Patron, not the same El
yeah,
Patron
exactly.
that we saw earlier in the season, but this is a team, a championship winning team here in Texas, and they're going to be tough to beat this way as well. Even though Sigsbee Deep looks to be kind of putting themselves ahead of the rest.
Sigsbee Deep definitely has a great reputation around this tournament and around this part of Texas. Obviously, we're so much farther than the other proving grounds and the playing field we've seen in the first 4 Gulf Division events. But, Robbie, that reputation, it's preceded themselves, and it's doing well day 1 so far. But, hey, we've seen that numbers from this team. That means another team tomorrow could catch just the right amount to overtake them.
Well, you heard the catch alert sound. You see the catches throughout the day, and this is just probably at least a third of what we think we have. And here's how it stands right now. Sigsbee Deep, and that they're going deep into this field because they've almost doubled up quantified. Rebecca, Bam Bam with the early catch today. Again, these are some solid teams in Texas, Ronnie, and we're seeing the numbers. But another thing we need to talk about is these are just the boats that are reporting what's happening at the Texas International Fishing Tournament event. This is not everyone. We figure this is about a third of the field. And what was it? 108 billfish caught in Dominican Republic a couple of months ago. That was our biggest tournament. I think we're going to catch up to at least half or more of that today. Welcome everyone inside the studio. I'm Robbie Floyd. Ronnie Moore is on site with Site 1 down there in South Padre Island. Ronnie, these numbers are incredible. I mean, this is probably a third of what we're expecting to see at the end of the day or at the end of the day tomorrow on the final day of competition.
What's incredible is if this was the final leaderboard, Robbie, if this was the, final results for the entire tournament, we would be happy with it. That is on par with some of the other tournaments. But, man, the sheer quantity that Sigsbee Deep and some of these other teams are putting on the board, it resembles, a 2 or 3 day total. So to see it do it in one day, one afternoon of fishing, fantastic for these teams. I only have higher expectations going into the weekend. And I honestly think we could see Team Quantified maybe if they sneak up there, they could have a first, and another first, Robbie.
Yeah, that would be incredible because we take the top 3 places throughout the season, whether they fished all of the Gulf events or whether they fish the Atlantics as well. Those catch points add up, but we take their 3 best finishes from the division. Looking at these numbers, I see 43 billfish, there's 13 whites, 8 blue marlin, a bunch of sails, 22 sailfish. Will we see a sword and spearfish? I don't know. I don't think so, but the variety of fish, we're seeing multiples of them. It is truly amazing.
Yeah, we haven't seen a spearfish this year in the Gulf Division events, and the swordfish mostly come out at night. No lines in during the nighttime. It starts around 6:30 in the morning, ends around 7 or so at night, I believe. So maybe no swords coming into play. But, Robbie, I want to talk about this field. We want to stack some great competitors. Not only do we have those teams that travel with the SFC through all of the Gulf events, the ones that are proven in the top. We have multiple top 10 teams in this field. We also have the best of the best from the state of Texas. Texas is one of the great fishing states, whether it's fresh or saltwater. So not only have they shown up to play, but this is one of the most stacked 81 boat team fields that we've had in any of our events. So it might not be a familiar name that takes the title, but they definitely have to earn it this week.
No, but these teams have been fishing this event and that Texas trifecta, year after year after year. And some of them don't want to make those longer runs to the Mississippi Gulf Coast or up there in Louisiana. So a lot of Port Aransas teams, Port O'Connor teams, and down at South Padre Island. We've got 6 boats out there that we were covering and specifically Quantified looking to win a Gulf championship. It will be determined this week, and Quantified's head and shoulders above the rest. They're out there and they're catching them as well. Those sailfish, even though they're not the 350 points that you would see, say, from a blue marlin, those points add up, and the sailfish are worth 75 points apiece. And right now here at this tournament, they're in second place with 1 blue marlin and 4 sailfish, but they've been very consistent this year, Ronnie.
Not only consistent, Robbie, I'll take a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th for consistency, but how about 2 firsts and a 7th? I will give Quantified all the kudos in the world because this team showed up to Alabama for the 2nd stop of the Gulf Division and knocked it out with a 1st place finish, and then they carried that momentum and ended up doing so again, another 1st place finish at the ECBC. So this team is on a roll. They were licking their chops. When we announced the SFC was going to become a thing late last year, they were one of the first teams to sign up, and they knew we're going to come and end the season in our home backyard. I'm all about it, and they have performed to the utmost ability this year.
Yeah, and there were times that we were hearing maybe they would go out on the Atlantic. I would have loved to have seen what they could have done at Martha's Vineyard. Maybe they could have got their spear and their sword there because we did see those 2 species of billfish. But I've been very impressed with them, and they're not afraid to go out there and catch the sailfish, too. We're seeing the multiples of it done here with 4. But at each and every stop, they catch what's around them, and they execute very, very well.
Yeah, I have to give major kudos to Captain Justin Drummond and his crew because they seem to zig and zag at the right times. When teams are all in on the blue marlin, they maybe mix in some whites and sails to bridge the gap. When you have those long couple-hour periods, maybe half a day with no bites at all, some of those teams are having to adjust to lightweight tackle. Well, Team Quantified adjusts their game plan to a different species. And this week, with the way the bait is forming in the Gulf, the runs not nearly as long as some of the other times. They're going to be able to fish a little longer, and we saw it early. They were one of the first teams with a released sailfish, and they're one of the best teams in the Gulf for tag and release, and that is the format that the SFC has adopted.
We're watching some of the coverage from previously in the year of the Sport Fishing Championship. A lot of pats on the backs. These are catch and release events. Now, at times, the local rules will have them bringing in certain fish, as you mentioned, a championship fish like a meat fish, and at times some big marlin. But here at the Sport Fishing Championship, it's catch and release, and a 97% rate at that. But this team has really looked good. 33 billfish caught so far in 5 events. They still have another full day tomorrow. this has been the team to beat in the Gulf. And when you think of the Gulf division, you think of those platforms and rigs, and they have been working their mastery. The best 3 finishes, a first, and a 7th. That 7th was the very first event. Then they got on that roll, and could we have our first ever 3-time winner, Ronnie, in the Sport Fishing Championship?
Unofficially right now, Robbie, they're in 2nd place, like you said, in this event. They'll call out a 7th place finish if it maintains where it's at, and 650 catch points. That's already better than their extra catch points they received from their cull event. So team quantified, and I will say this, Robbie, for the TIFT tournament, the rules that have been in place for this 2-day tournament, if you do have an over, one of those bigger billfish that you want to bring to the scales, you have to do it the day you catch it. You cannot wait till the end of the event. So some of these teams may end up coming in today, and they'll have to go back out and do that run one more time for one more day of fishing. So we'll see how teams manage that strategy, but quantified in such a great position. Hey, they not only could wrap up 100,000 tomorrow for Team of the Year in the Gulf, they're looking at that million, and they're ready for the charter, and I know they're going to be licking their chops if they have a big lead going into Puerto Rico.
Absolutely. A lot of money's on the line. Again, $50,000 for our championship fish divisions. We have $100,000 for our Gulf division, and we also have $1 million for our SFC champion. But this tournament, the TIFT tournament's been going around for a long time, and especially this gentleman has been participating.
I'm Matt Klosterman, and most of y'all know me from the SFC, but I got my roots started here at the Texas International Fishing Tournament here at South Padre Island. And today I'm joined by one of my good friends and one of my mentors, Captain Charles Shelton, who served on the TIFT Executive Board for over 30 years and also has that title, past president.
The thing about TIFT, it's always been a family. You know, it started out as a family tournament, and you just knew everybody. There was no money involved. It was all about the trophies.
Right.
And you knew everybody. You go to parties and you get to see those people once a year. Years ago, there was a party every night. You know, it was a 3-day tournament.
Yes, sir.
And 3 days later on got to be pretty tough, because the 2nd day you go, okay, I still got to get up and go tomorrow too. But it's always been a great tournament, and the boats have got bigger and faster, more expensive, all that stuff.
That they have.
And the money's involved. But you know what? You don't have to get into money. You can go out there and fish to be grand champion, and that's what we did. We were grand champion in '92 on my 28 Bertram. So, and that's a special deal to get to stand up there and be grand champion of TIFT.
You also get your name on that perpetual trophy.
That's right.
It's part of TIFT. These trophies go back to the 1930s. Charles, we've expanded on those trophies over the years, but you know, I don't think there's another tournament that has 15+ perpetual. Get your
That's
name
right.
in, on the trophy for eternity through TIFT for us fishermen. So it's another thing special, I know, to you and me both, is these perpetual trophies we have. There's of course one fish that I think we have to talk about, Charlie, and it's the fish from back at our 71st TIFT. Why don't you tell us who you had with you that day and a little bit about that fish?
We were on Mr. Knapp's boat, and I had David Tubbs with me. He's the best deckhand assistant captain a person could have. He's
pretty
really good.
knowledgeable, yes, sir.
Oh, he is. He's great. Without him, we wouldn't have got that fish. But he wired it a bunch of times, and I finally was able to gap it.
Bessie Bell is the boat. That's a 37 Bertram that Charles was running for Mr. Knapp. What Charles isn't telling y'all is Mr. Knapp's age at the time he was our angler here, and I don't remember his age, but
He was 86.
He was 86 years old, pulled in 124-inch, 670-pound blue marlin. They did get this fish to the boat and managed to bring it to the dock and let us weigh it, and what a privilege it was that day. And at the time was the largest fish ever weighed in at TIFT.
Yes, it
We've
was.
had a few since then, beat it by literally 5 pounds. So one of the largest fish ever weighed here at Padre, and something that Charles, I know, is really proud of.
Yes, at 86 years old, he was worn out when he got it.
I think I would be worn out.
It was the
when I
first
got
day
it.
of TIFT, and he didn't fish the 2nd day.
Again, thank you for your time, Charlie. We appreciate it, and look forward to what you bring us on the dock Saturday.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Yes, sir.
SFC coverage of the Texas International Fishing Tournament is sponsored by Seaholm Watches, by Smith Optics, and by Fish Razor.
whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
Remember, everything begins in the morning. Every story told is a fisherman's tale. We build watches tough enough to be a part of that tale. The perfect balance of beauty and brawn. We are Seaholm. Watches that last a lifetime. Seaholm Automatic, the official timepiece of the Sport Fishing Championship.
See it, live it, love it. The largest in-water boat show in the world, the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. More than 3 million square feet, fishing boats to super yachts, engines, accessories, learning experiences, and culinary delights. Save the dates, October 26th through 30th. Details at flibs.com.
It all comes back to the water, this binding agent, this fluid history of connection. Past, present, and future, all tied together through this never-ending, unwavering force. We belong to a community of seekers, anglers, and everyone in between. For us, it's more than fishing, much more. It's who we are, who we were, and who we aspire to be. We are Smith.
So, you want this, but you can't have it without this, or this, or this. Until now, introducing a new way to travel, intranationally. Get all that international charm without ever leaving the country. Right here in St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra. Get all that culture, all the cuisine from that culture. You're welcome. All the gram-worthy sites from that #culture. Right here at home. St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra. Travel intranationally.
Slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
When it comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, we've got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Sport fishing anglers from around the world competing for $1 million. The Sport Fishing Championship on CBS Sports Network. SFC coverage of the Texas International Fishing Tournament is sponsored by Sword Fishing Products, by Vineyard Wind, and by Yugo.
The 9th stop of the Sport Fishing Championship season brings us to South Padre Island, Texas. And not only are we here for the 82nd annual TIFT tournament, but we're also here at Sea Turtle Inc. with Wendy. And you guys are here to not only make sure sea turtles thrive, but they also, the ones who are hurt, can get rehabilitated.
Absolutely. Sea Turtle Inc. has had the privilege of being a nonprofit here on South Padre Island for 45 years this year. And our core mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and then educate the public about endangered sea turtles. You know, Sea Turtle Inc. is a very small organization. We have 18 paid employees, but we have the might of thousands of fishermen and community members that support us. One of the big privileges of being on South Padre Island is you share the waterways here with the Kemp's Ridley, and this is the only place in the United States where you can do that. So having the support of fishermen and having them report to us line entanglement or when they accidentally hook a sea turtle or see a sea turtle in distress, about 35% of our patients come to us in the hospital because of some kind of entanglement with fishing and fishing equipment. So that support is a critical part of us being able to execute on the mission here. So we are, at this point, have protected almost 100 nests of females that have laid nests here and are approaching 10,000 eggs this season already. So the Kemp's Ridley is the only species of turtle that actually nests during the daytime. So if you come to South Padre Island to fish, you could come here to Sea Turtle Inc. and see our hospital and our patients. You could take your drink and your fishing pole out to the beach and be sitting there and see a Kemp's Ridley walk up and lay a nest inches from you. And you can't have that experience anywhere else, and it's quite the privilege.
South Padre Island's a great place to come and be a tourist. If you want to go fishing, there's obviously opportunities to do that. If you want to come sightseeing, the same thing there. But for people who are tourists and visit, how do they reach out to you guys if they do see something out of the ordinary with sea turtles while they're on their vacations here?
Wonderful. Well, you've got lots of ways to engage with us. Obviously, you can come see us here at the facility, and we'll walk you through the entire process. You can see the hospital. We also are very active, and you can report any strandings on our Facebook, our TikTok, and our Instagram accounts. And as you enter any beach entrance on South Padre Island, you will see a notification that endangered sea turtles are here, and they will provide our emergency number. If you see anything, need anything, call us. We'll be there.
Awesome. Well, we're going to see some of the best bill fishing in the Gulf all season long this week at the TIFT event, and also we're seeing some of the best conservation aspects in the world right here at Sea Turtle Inc.
Excellent piece there, Ronnie Moore. Let's go on site with Site 1 and check in with Ronnie. It's really cool. You know, I love seeing the sea turtles there. I go to Mexico whenever they start making their run in the nesting period. Should be coming up in the next couple of months. You're talking about the rehabilitation. It's so tough looking at those little sea turtles with their knee braces on and things like that. I'm just messing with you, Ronnie. But it is cool, and it is amazing everything that they do for these animals. And she's right. When you pull onto the beach, you see that sign. It says, if there's any issues whatsoever, give them a call.
You know, what's incredible, Robbie, learning about the Sea Turtle Inc. and everything that they do. I mean, this species of sea turtles, they nest during the day. They do it in the heat of the summer. It's something that the public can just walk on any beach around South Padre Island and witness this. But there are aspects that they need to do to protect them. And one crazy thing that you living in the Dallas region where you're from, that cold stun, that week of cold that we had in 2021 that froze everything in Texas, it really affected the sea turtle population here. 5,500 sea turtles either washed up on shore or were in danger out on the water because of those freezing cold temps for that sustained amount of time. So Sea Turtle Inc., along with the convention center and the whole community, partnered together to rescue those 5,500 sea turtles, get them back to room temperature, get them ready to go. And when they were ready to return, they went back out in the ocean like it never happened. So Sea Turtle Inc. not only preserving one of the best wonders of the world, seeing these sea turtles, but also keeping the future generations, when they do hatch every beach or every summer on the beach, keeping those intact for future years. It's very cool to see their facility.
It's really cool in the partnership, and I know we deal with a lot of conservation stuff with Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. I know they had their play day tied into the TIFT play day this week. One thing, I can't see where you're looking towards, but I saw a lot of movement on Facebook and stuff for the event you're at. A lot of the inshore guys are coming in doing their weigh-in and stuff. It's a happening scene there at Port Isabel, isn't it?
Yes, Robbie, they were walking behind me. A lot of the teams were docking up on the seawall here and walking behind me to the weigh station right here in the TIFT, the amphitheater at South Point Marina. This is what's cool about the TIFT tournament. There is two aspects to this tournament. You have the inshore guys, the bay division as they call it, and then the offshore teams. Obviously, the offshore teams don't necessarily have a daily weigh-in for teams. They have to come back, though, if they do register a billfish catch over the limit. But all of these teams will try to limit out with redfish, snook, snook, trout, flounder as well. There's so many things for the inshore and bay anglers at the TIFT tournament, as well as the offshore. I think 81 boats in the offshore portion and a 140 for the bay division.
Yeah, it is a tremendous tournament. It's been going on for 82 years. I think 1934 was the first year. But let's look at our Garmin team spotter. One of our top teams who currently sit fourth in the championship is Team Rising Suns. We've seen them really succeed this year on that 58-foot Viking out of Orange Beach, Alabama. Captain Jimmy Crochet has been putting them on the fish, but it's been Jacelyn Berthelot who's been doing a lot of the catching, and Ronnie Moore caught up with her earlier this week.
Ninth stop of the SFC season. We're here in South Padre Island, Texas, the final event of the Gulf Division. I've got one of the contenders, one of the top teams, Team Rising Suns, and their angler, Jacelyn Berthelot. Jacelyn, you guys have been oh so consistent this year. You guys just had a great SFC event in Destin. What are your expectations now that you've gotten down to Texas? This is one of the first times you've ever fished in Texas.
Yeah, this is definitely the first time I've been down here. I'm really excited. There's a lot of new territory that we're not really familiar with. But we're ready to figure it out and beat some people.
There are people watching the show that may be surprised to see a lady angler catch and tag and release as many blue marlin as you guys have this year with you in the fighting chair. But the fish don't see gender. The fish don't know who's reeling them in. What's it been like to be kind of entrusted as the angler, from Captain Cricket to your dad to everybody on crew, knowing that you have what it takes to do it every single catch?
I'm about to be 20 years old in about a month. I've been fishing since I was about 12 or 13. 2 of those years, first years, I spent just sitting up there with my dad on the bridge and watching, and he's like, okay, this person's doing this wrong. This is what you need to do, and learning there. And then I actually got to catch my first fish, which was actually a tuna. I was on top of the world and learning ever since then, and I've always taken every opportunity to learn new things and figure out which ways I can do it better. It's a very great opportunity to be trusted by all of these guys. It's the experience I get to have out here with my dad and the rest of the crew. It's an amazing opportunity. I'm very thankful that I get to do it every day and every summer.
From last week into this tournament to wrap up the SFC, you guys are kind of riding a high, and you guys still have an opportunity to maybe take home that $100,000 for the Gulf Division.
Yeah, we definitely have a chance, and we're definitely going to try our hardest to get there.
Awesome. Jacelyn Berthelot, the angler in the fighting chair that we'll see all week long at the 82nd Annual TIFT Tournament.
Great job by Ronnie and Jacelyn. She's been just kicking tail throughout the year. All our best 3 finishes inside those top 7, and that's why they're fourth in the championship, trying to get more catch points this week. And they're doing it as far as the championship fish are concerned. I think Jacelyn had a yellowfin tuna on this morning. I think Toby had a mahi-mahi, and word has it that mahi-mahi could be our championship leading fish. Right now, Team MG's Angelo DePaloa has the biggest mahi-mahi at 40 pounds. But Team Rising Suns not only trying to win the Gulf Division, trying to win that $1 million in Puerto Rico, they're also trying to win the championship fish divisions as well. We still have one event remaining in our championship as we take a look ahead with Smith Optics, and that will crown our champion, and a $1 million prize goes with it. We head down to San Juan, Puerto Rico in a couple of weeks' time, middle of August, the International Billfish Tournament. I mean, it's a great facility, great fishery. There's FADs, those fish aggregating devices, just off the shoreline. We should be getting some live fish catches, but they're going to be trying to dredge up some of those mighty billfish. A lot of blues to be had. When we were in the Dominican Republic, it was the white marlin that was prevalent, but the blue marlin, they're going to be key in Puerto Rico. Again, 5 different billfish we've been talking about throughout the season, whether it's a blue marlin, white marlin, spearfish, sailfish, or swordfish, each worth valuable points. And we will crown that champion August 20th. The Commissioner Mark Neifeld is going to be down there in Puerto Rico. A lot of good things they've been doing for the community, for the fishing as well. Ronnie Moore, I can't wait to get to Puerto Rico. Are you coming to Puerto Rico, or is it going to be the Gale Force Twins going to be down there?
See, Robbie, I knew at some point you were going to tease me about not going. I've been to almost all of the Gulf events so far. I missed out on some of the Atlantics, but I'm going to leave the island fishing to you. I like to keep my feet, on land that's connected to the rest of the United States. So I'll stay here and lay back for you to enjoy the sun.
One thing I know is, Ronnie, wherever you do go, they catch fish, and they're doing it here. The Texas International Fishing Tournament, as it stands right now, Sigsbee Deep has doubled up on the field, quantified They're leading the Gulf Championship. If they finish second in this tournament, they will clinch that spot with 2 wins, a second place, throw in all their catch points as well. Rebecca up there in the top 3. We've had 43 billfish caught, and everything is officially unofficial. You can join us in the morning at 10 o'clock Eastern. Some of these teams, as Ronnie had talked about, will be coming in tonight and having to reemerge out there in the Gulf of Mexico. They have to have their lines out of the water as of 1 minute ago. Some of them are going to be heading back. Ronnie, let's do this again tomorrow. You ready?
That sounds good. The action's going to be hot for day 2 at the TIFT. I know it.
We'll see everybody on sportfishingchampionship.com tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern with Peter Miller.
SFC coverage of the Texas International Fishing Tournament is sponsored by Invincible Boats, by Cypress Cove Marina, and by Salt Life.
The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation is honored to be the official charity of the Sports Fishing Championship. Through this partnership and the support of donors like you, future generations will enjoy and benefit from a naturally balanced ocean ecosystem. Our education programs, both in the classroom and online, bring to life the work needed to make sure we have clean oceans for decades to come. Join us today at www.ghof.org.
Sometimes saying no can be really difficult. It's hard to set boundaries, to give yourself space and time. Hop water means never having to choose between having fun or missing out. A sparkling hop water full of flavor and packed with mood-boosting benefits that's non-alcoholic with no calories, no carbs, and no sugar. So go out there and get up to no good.
Serious. You are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
It's the simple things, like spending a day at the beach, splashing in the water, playing in the sand, and creating sandcastle masterpieces. Rediscover fun and family on the beautiful white sand beaches of Gulf Shores and Orange Beach.
Sport fishing anglers from around the world competing for $1 million. The Sport Fishing Championship on CBS Sports Network.
A day out on the water could go great. Or it could have a few minor setbacks. Things could get rough. Or you could lose that $900 smartphone. Whatever the problem, Yugo provides unmatched premium protection for any water sports adventure. Yugo. To get yours, visit YugoWear.com or simply scan the QR code on the screen. And remember, just add water.
Some call it joie de vivre, the joy of life. In Louisiana, it's our way of life. From music that shakes up your senses to food that wakes up your palate. That joy vibrates in every note we play and spices up every meal we serve. So come live life to the fullest. Come one, come y'all, come feed your soul in Louisiana. I'm Sean Ardway, inviting you to plan your trip at LouisianaTravel.com.